read this sentence. This is June 8th, so still in the beginning of his rehab. So let's try it, Steve.
The snoke can snake about the snake.
Close.
So my name's Stephen Albright. I live in New York City. I work at a consulting group, and more specifically, it's commercial real estate. I'm married. My wife, her name's Megan, and it's been 1 year. Actually, I think last week was my first anniversary. March 2020. I was living in Manhattan, but COVID came. So I decided to go to my parents' house in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was working pretty much remotely, and one day, May 7th, 2020, I just kind of started having a headache on the left side. And I actually had a meeting. And when people were speaking to me, I was like, I don't really understand what you're saying. And then the colors started to go everywhere. And then it got to a point that it was the most excruciating pain I've ever had. And I couldn't really speak. Pretty much the ambulance came. I went to the hospital, and finally they realized that I suffered a massive stroke. It's on the left side of my brain. It's where all the language is. And when I woke up, I completely lost my language. The nurse is they're saying something. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. But all my intelligence was in my head. Like, I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but I couldn't. And so I was very confused. And it got to a point that finally they say that I have aphasia. And I had a massive stroke. And then the month later, they realized that I had AVM. It's pretty much the artery in the vein is twisted. Like, a lot of people have AVM, but like rarely it like pops. Mine happened to pop. They realized that it's kind of like an emergency surgery. Like, you have to go immediately. So when I woke up, it was pretty much time to like recover. It's like, let's go. Let's try to relearn English, try to do the whole thing. And I went through 3 intensive aphasia programs. And so my goal was, I'm going to go back to New York and back to my consulting group within a year. And then after the intensive aphasia programs, I was like hypothetically graduated. Like, I definitely only had like 30 to 50% of language at that point. But I was like, okay, I kind of want to try something else. And my parents actually saw that there's something called LearningRx. I think I had like a couple more months before my goal was done. So I was like, I'm not even close to 100% yet. So let's do it. Literally the first or the second sessions, I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be it. Because all these cognitive skills is exactly what I need. LearningRx is like, it's kind of the whole brain. And it was awesome. I remember after every single session, I almost crashed. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, my brain is like done. But I knew that it was gonna be really, really helpful for me. I think the biggest thing that I noticed was the phonetics, like those exercises. I kind of went all the way back to the foundation, and that, like, those phonetics was exactly what I needed. After a couple months, there's some like results that my tutors will talk about. And I remember when I looked at the results, I was like, wow, like LearningRx really, really works. My wife is just an angel. We were dating before my stroke, and then even more, she wanted to be next to me and support me throughout my recovery. I mean, it definitely was challenging because I couldn't even have a conversation with her. I couldn't do anything for like a year or 2 years. And then I remember one day she said something and I cracked a joke, which took me like a year to do because I didn't understand what she's saying and I didn't know what I could say. But once I joked, she just could not stop smiling. She was like, oh my God, like, you're getting better. And so like the small things, she was the one that was number one. Like, I don't know what to do without her. Currently, right now, I'm studying for the GMAT. It's very, very challenging, but I know that the only thing that will help me to get back to that 100% is the next challenge. And so GMAT is definitely that challenge right now. I think literally everybody should do LearningRx. I know that this is really good for my aphasia, but for all my friends and family, I know that it would really help them. Whether any goals that they have, I really think LearningRx is going to be the one that is going to push them to their finish line. I think LearningRx is, I'll be honest, is like life-changing. I think LearningRx was literally the one who gave me the whole foundation of English and my brain, and rewiring my entire brain after that stroke. Your brain is much more malleable than you realize, no matter what your age. And you just have to really, really keep pushing as hard as you possibly can.
All right, ready.
Smile.
What do you want? Are you done?
No, you smile.
Okay.
For the camera. No, smile.
What do you mean?
Like this. Like teeth. Show me your teeth. Yeah, there you go.